Rivka. Huh? Can I sit back there? Oh, yeah. We have her.
You can sit wherever you want. I'm not going to stop you. Great. There we go. Shabbat Shalom. Glad you're here. How nice. We're celebrating Shabbos together. Anybody go trick-or-treating last night? Yeah? Just me and Susan and Emily. Great to celebrate Emily and Spencer this weekend. Nice to be here. This is our first time in over a month that it's not a holiday on a Friday night. And so it feels really good to be here and just get to celebrate Shabbat and not be thinking about Sukkot, Shmini Atzeret, Simchat Torah, Yom Kippur, Rosh Hashanah, anything else. Just to be here for Shabbos. We're in the Red Siddur. If you want to open the Red Siddur to page 5, the bottom of page 5, we'll sing the words of Shalom Aleichem.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaSharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech, Malachei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Barchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. On mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzedchem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech, malachei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu.
One of the central tenets of Judaism is the idea of gratitude, of being thankful, of recognizing all the good that is in our lives. It's called Haknasat HaTov, Hakarat HaTov, to recognize the good in our lives. And so as we sing the next psalm on page 11, Lechuna Ranana, which includes the line Nekanma Fanav Betodah, to take a moment every day and be grateful. To take a moment every day, especially leading into Shabbat, as we're trying to leave the rest of the week, the rest of the news, please God, outside, and to just be present here, is to be in this moment of gratitude that you are able to be present somewhere, that you are able to sit here and you're feeling okay enough to be here, and the world is working enough for you to be here. So we'll sing page 11, Lechu Neranana.
Lechu neranena l'Adonai nariya letzor yishenu nekadma fanav betodah bizmirot nariyalo.
We'll conclude the psalm, the red arrow on page 12.
Arba'im shana akut bedor v'omar לא ידעו דרכי. אשר נשבעתי באפי, אם יבואון אל מנוחתי. שירו לאדוני שיר חדש, שירו לאדוני כל הארץ, שירו לאדוני ברכו שמו, בסרו מיום ליום ישועתו, ספרו בגויים כבודו, וכל העמים נפלאותיו, כי גדול אדוני ומהולל מאוד, נורא הוא על כל אלוהים. ניי 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 לפני אדוני קיווה לשפוט הארץ, ישפוט הבל בצדק, וימים באמונתו.
Any requests? Bottom of 20 with the words of Romemu.
רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. רוממו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו להקודשו. כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. רוממו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו. רוממו.
Each week we choose a few of the Psalms from Friday night to add it to our service. We're on page 21, Mizmor LeDavid.
מזמור לדוד, אבו לאדוני ברלים, אבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז. אבו לאדוני כבוד שמו, ישתחוו לאדוני באדרת קודש. כל אדוני על המים אל הכבוד הרים. אדוני על מים רבים. כל אדוני Adonai bagoach ay kol Adonai ve'adar kol Adonai shover arazim וישבר אדוני את ארזי הלבנון ויקידם כמו עגל לבנון בציון כמו בין רעמים כל אדוני חוצה לעבודש כל אדוני יחים מבר יכיל אדוני מדבר קדש כל אדוני יכול לילות ויחשוף יערור וחלו כולו אומר כבוד אדוני למבוא ישב אדוני מלך לעולם אדוני עוז לעמו ייתן אדוני יברך את עמו בשלום ניי 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 ניי
On page 23, Lecha Dodi.
דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה שמור וזכור ודיבור אחד השמיענו אל המאוחד אדוני אחד ושמו אחד בשם ולתפארת ולתהילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה כי מקור הברכה מראש מקדם נסוכה סוף מעשה ומחשבה תחילה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה מקדש מלך עיר מלוכה כל מצאים מתוך אפיך רב לשבת בעמק הבכה והוא יחמול עלייך חמלה הולך דודים לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התנערי מעפר קומי לבשי בגדי תפארתך עמי על יד בן ישי בית הלחמי כל ואל נפשי גאלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה התעוררי כי באורך קומי אורי שיר דברי כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה הולך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ינני פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לא תבושי ולא תקרמי מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי בך יחסו אני עמי ונבנתה יראתי לה לך דודי לקראת כלה ינני פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה ינני פני שבת נקבלה והיו למשיסה שוזייך ורחקו מבלייך יסיס עלייך אלוהיך כמסוס חתן על כלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת נקבלה לך דודי לקראת כלה פני שבת קבלה ימין ושמאל תפרוצי ואת אדוני תעריצי Al yarish ben barzi v'nismecha v'nagila lecha dodi likra kala yanana nanana nanana pnei Shabbat nekabela ay dai lecha dodi likra kala nanana da 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 da.
Table we rise, we face the door.
Shabbat nekabela Boim v'shalom ateret ba'ala gam b'simcha u'v'tzola toch emonem am segula bo'i chala Lecha dodi likra kala yana da 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 pnei Shabbat nekabela ay lecha dodi likra kala yana da da pnei Shabbat nekabela ay
You may be seated. It's one of my favorite moments of the week is when people stand up and face the door as if to say everybody should feel welcome here. There should be a sanctuary for everybody, that you should feel like you're welcome to come in, whether you're the kind of person who comes here every single week, several times a week, or every decade you end up coming here, or this is your first time in a synagogue. You should still feel welcome when you come here. We try to make sure we have greeters on Friday nights and Saturday mornings, that if you show up, there is somebody there to say hello to you, shalom, good morning, good evening to you. And I'm glad, I believe Alan is our greeter today, and even with only one hand, he's still doing a wonderful job making sure all of us feel welcome here today. We'll finish up this first half of the service of Kabbalat Shabbat with Tzadik Katamar. These words are on page 28, right in the middle of the page. It is ancient words from 3,000 years ago, hoping that if we keep tending this garden of justice and righteousness and kindness, that it will keep growing like trees that keep on growing despite the fact that we're not paying much attention to them, that perhaps justice will continue to grow in this world. Tzadik Katamar.
Tzadik katamar yifrach gerez balvanon yizger shetulim bevet Adonai Mechatzrot Eloheinu Yafrichu Od Yenuvon Veseva Deshenim Verananim Ihu Lehagir ki hashar Adonai tzuvi velo avlata bo.
Thank you. Mariana, that was beautiful. This week, just a few days ago, we were celebrating the B'nai Mitzvah of several adults in our community, which was really wonderful. And if you're thinking of going through that process, I would put you in touch with any one of those 7 to talk about how incredible it was for them and for their family to sit here last week and help lead the service. Some of them became B'nai Mitzvah as kids. They had a ceremony like this when they were 13. And maybe it just didn't mean a lot to them. Some of them converted to Judaism and only recently had this opportunity, and some grew up Orthodox or in some other community that they didn't feel the opportunity to become bat or bar mitzvah. And they wanted to finally do this as an adult. So up here were 7 people ranging in ages from, I would guess, early 30s to mid-70s. And they led the service and they read Torah, and it was really a wonderful weekend. And afterwards, one of the people who was here visiting for the B'nai Mitzvah, who traveled here to celebrate somebody, took me aside and said one of the scariest things that I hear, which is, "You're a rabbi, maybe you can help me." And I imagine that some of you have this in your job as well. You're a financial planner, maybe you can help me. You're a teacher, maybe you can help me. Buzz, anyway, and so to think of all of the different things I worry about, like I have a sister-in-law's sister who's a dermatologist. And I always, whenever I see her, I want to go, by the way, what do you think this is? And so, rabbi, you're a rabbi, maybe you can help me, sometimes means, what's that holiday where we sit in a sukkah? You go, oh, okay, I got this one. All right. And sometimes it's something wild and esoteric. Who was that 14th century philosopher who lived in the south of France and only, I don't know. And so this one was, you're a rabbi, maybe you can help me. What do you think is the most important part of a relationship? I was not expecting that, but I happened to be standing there with a teacher and an artist and a TV producer and a radiologist, and I thought, well, between all of us, we could figure out some answer together. And I thought maybe an easy go-to answer is communication. Anybody have a better, I don't know, a different answer? I think that's a reasonable one. We talked about sense of humor is really important, and having the same taste in movies or music or politicians is important. So many of these other goals for life are important, except that without communication, it's really hard to understand somebody and what they're hoping for if they can't explain to you their emotions or their goals for life or where they stand politically or what movies they like, that the communication is the basis for all of this. And so it caught me off guard, and we had a lovely conversation, this group of us. And I think about it now, especially this week, because the Torah that we're going to read tomorrow morning has a story about this, and I think many of you know this story in some way, which is this very strange story of the Tower of Babel. You are perhaps aware of this one. Here's what's strange for me. Every culture, Native American, Chinese, Indian, name a continent or a region, they have a creation story. Some sort of myth as to how humanity came into being. Some are more interesting, some are better than others, but they all have some sort of story like that. And they all have a flood story. Every culture that we can find has some story of a flood, some coming from the ground. If you lived close to the Mississippi or the Nile or the Amazon, it might be a story of flood coming from the ground, but otherwise too much rain somehow makes it into your mythology of what your stories are. They all have an annunciation story where somebody is chosen to be God's partner. And Judaism's is different in all of these. With our creation story, the idea of creation is that every person is created with B'Tselem Elohim, with this image of God inside of them, which is different. And with the flood story, the survivor of the flood is actually really upset about the whole situation and feels terrible about the fact that he is among the lone survivors of this. It's a part of the story we don't talk about very much. And the Annunciation story, which we'll read next week in the Torah, is also very different. In every other culture, it's the God coming down and handing the biggest sword to the biggest man and saying, you are my teammate here on earth. Your job is to kill anybody who doesn't agree with us. If they don't believe in me as the God, you wipe them out. And Judaism's is different. God comes down and says, be a blessing. Your job is to be a blessing. Spread blessings, which is an incredible change compared to every other story that we have that is similar in any kind of way. Except the Tower of Babel doesn't happen in any other culture. The Tower of Babel is a story of people post-flood trying to find a way to talk to God. In one idea of the story, they're trying to dethrone God. If they build a high enough tower, they'll be able to pull God out of the sky and say, you are no longer God, either out of anger because of the flood or just out of their pure sense of machismo, that they can go up there and take down God and throw an idol up there, something that they made. And other ideas of the story that's from our Torah, other readings of the story, perhaps it's that they want to get away from the idea of flood. There has just been a flood, and we need to build something and climb to the top of it and have a rooftop deck somewhere so that we can be saved. And some of our commentators say, isn't it interesting that they build this tower in a valley and not on the top of a mountain? If you want to get closer to God, you can have a 2,000-foot lead instead of building it from the valley floor. Perhaps, and maybe they weren't that smart. What's strange here about this story is that it goes against everything else that every other culture seems to be saying. Every other culture, including modern American culture, is about wealth. Who has the biggest house? Who has the tallest tower? Who has the highest penthouse? Who has the fanciest and the tallest? And our Torah says it doesn't matter who's highest up. That is not what matters. Every person, as a reminder from creation, every person is created with the image of God. Every person is holy. As we talked about on Yom Kippur and Kol Nidre, there's a thread that we wear on our talit, on our tzitzit, to say every person is royal. Every person has this inherent godliness inside of them. And no other culture wants to embrace that because they want to believe that somebody is endowed by God with being better, holier, smarter, more royal. 20th century Italian scholar Umberto Cassuto said, it's impossible for such parallels to be found among other nations because the narrative is essentially a protest against the concept and ideas of most other nations. There's a story of satire on what was considered beautiful to the Babylonians, a parody of their customary assertions and narrations. That every other culture, especially the Mesopotamians, the Akkadians, the Hittites, the Sumerians, those who lived in Babylonia back then, but I think even to us today, believe that there is some sort of excitement in being the best, in having the highest tower, and having the most gold. And this story comes in at the beginning of our Torah to say, this is not what is important. God will knock this all down and you can start over again because there is not somebody who's better because they're on the top floor than you who are on the bottom floor. Every person is echad, is part of this oneness of God. Every person has holiness within them. Every person has this ability to be great. And the joke in here, that actually, oddly, my wife is reading Torah tomorrow, and this is in her Torah reading. We've been working on it a little bit this week, and so it's familiar to me, is the idea of where they are building this. This tower is called Babel, which is from the word Baba El. If you study Talmud, you know the word Bava, which means gate. This is the gate of God. They think they're building a tower that will be the gate of God. And we are aware, we in the future, we who believe that every person is holy, we who believe that the person on top isn't any better than the person who's just a regular citizen, we understand that Babel doesn't mean the gate of God. Babel means nonsense. Means if a baby is babbling, they're not speaking coherently. If a person is babbling, we take them to a doctor. Babel means something that can't be understood. And so anybody who says, I am the chosen one, I am the great one, I am at the gate of God, I am someone special, and therefore you are not, our Torah says from the beginning, that person is mere babbling. That person is just talking nonsense. So what a beautiful way to start the Torah is to remind ourselves from the beginning, every person has the breath, has the Spirit of God within them, and there is nobody who is better than anybody else. We all are part of this collective cloth, and that's what's important. Shabbat Shalom. I'll invite Emily and Spencer to come up and help lead us in the prayer over the candles, to remind us that it is our job to bring more light into the world. We'll invite whoever else from the community, your parents or your aunts and uncles or anybody else from the community who wants to come up here and say the blessing with us, to join us on the bima. If you're able, we'll rise for this blessing. Look at these 2 candles that Emily lit earlier tonight.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kideshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu להדליק נר של שבת להדליק נר של שבת.
We'll remain standing. We'll invite you two to open up the ark for us. Everyone else may go back to your areas. We'll remain standing for Baruch Hu, which is on page 39.
Baruch et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Leolam Va'ed.
You may be seated.
Ma'avir yom umehevi laila umavdil ben yom uven laila Adonai tzevaot shemo Elkai v'kaya tamidim loch aleinu leolam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai
Baruch Shemo.
Ma'ariv Aravim.
Amen. We turn to page 40, Ahavat Olam. Olam, the entire universe is filled with love.
Ahavat olam bet Yisrael amcha ahavta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpatim otanu limadeta Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shokbeinu v'kumeinu נסיע בחוקיך ונשמח בדברי תורתך ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ובהם נהגה יומם ולילה.
ואהבתך אל תסיר ממנו לעולמים. ברוך אתה אדוני
Baruch Shemo.
אוהב עמו ישראל.
Amen.
שמע ישראל Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם מאוד על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. Adonai Elohechem Emet.
We'll come back together in a moment on page 44.
מי כמוך בהלים אדוני, מי כמוך נהדר בקודש, נורא דלות אוסף נורא דלות אוסף למלכותך, ראו בניך בוקי הים לפני משה, זה אלינו ואמרו Adonai Lor leolam vaed Adonai 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 ונהמה כיפת אדוני את יעקב וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני כל ישראל.
Amen. I'd like to invite Lisa Goodman up here to read for us this prayer in English. You can follow along on page 45.
Shabbat Shalom. Second bracha after the Shema, peace in the night. Allow us, Adonai our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people of Israel, and over Jerusalem.
Amen. Thank you, Lisa. We'll sing these words on page 45, Hashkivenu.
השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים. ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ותקננו וצר טובה מלפניך השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום והעמידנו מלכנו לחיים ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורץ סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים אמן ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורץ סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים ועל ירושלים ועל ירושלים אמן.
Amen. If you're able, we rise, page 46, V'shamru, B'nai Yisrael.
ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדוברותם ברית עולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדוברותם ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם אותי לעולם אותי לעולם ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש שבת וינפש שבת וינפש ושמרו בני ישראל את השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם.
יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויעמד דברה קראתי וימליך מלכותי, בחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דהו בית ישראל. בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם ולעולמי עלמיה. יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילם מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה תאמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן.
Starting on page 47 is the Amidah for Friday night. It is a silent individual Amidah for those who would like. On page 50 is an additional paragraph for Rosh Chodesh. When you're finished with your prayer, you may be seated.
Say shalom bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'akol Yisrael.
you're still praying, you may continue, of course. We turn to the inside back cover of our Siddur. In most Siddurs, there's a sticker here with the words of Misha Berach, a prayer of healing. We have our long list of names of people we're thinking of tonight. If you have names to add to our list, of course, let us know.
Misha Berach Avotenu Mikor habracha leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen.
We're praying for the healing of Stephen Ross, Menucha bat Necha, Shlomo ben Rivka, Rivka bat Sarah, Greg Watson, Yonatan Reuven ben Rivka, Lazer ben Chava, Fredo ben Iranoga, Naftali ben Devora, Meir Yaakov bat Gitta Braina, Yehudit bat Sarah, Moshe ben Yehudit, David Gould, Asa Luo, Al Sanderson, Shirley Rutkovitz, John Ogle, Ron Kadish, Richard Korn, Carl Weiss, Barry Perkin, Katrinka Schiffman, Laura Ziff, Karen bat Maya Root, Harav Masha Racha bat Goldalea, Maya Root bat Esther, Moshe ben Chana, Meir ben Fega, Yochanan ben Chana, Shlomo Lev ben Tessi, Rachel bat Fega, Mike Ryder, Yaakov ben Sarah, Betty Herman, Avram Yaakov ben Miriam, Yosef ben Brina, Chanalea bat Alice, Reuven Michael ben Shirley, Shani bat Rachel, Pesa bat Blima, Michelle Bacon, Reuven ben Hyman, Avram Moshe ben Blumashena, Tammy Kessler Wakeman, Yechezkel ben Avram David, Nachum Osher ben Malka, Michael Yirmiyahu ben Rivka, Rachel bat Chava, Yerachmiel ben Chana, Miriam bat Dina, Ainsley Holland, Orit bat Sivan, Tyler Berry, Benjamin ben Tova, Reuven Baruch ben Taibi Alana, Shlomo ben Duba, Greg Werber, Wyatt Golden, Shana Aviva bat Simcha, Yehudit Esther bat Rachel Leah, Stephen Sisman, Lucy Beckett.
Mishem Berach Imotenu Mikor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shalema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Amen. Page 54 is Kaddish Shalem. We invite Spencer and Emily to help lead it. It's now past their bedtime, so we'll try to wrap this up. Are you ready? Okay. 1, 2.
Yit kadal v'yit kadash me rabba ve'alma divra kirute ve'amlich machute ve'hayehon uv'yomechon uv'hayedecho beit Yisrael v'agala uv'izman kariv ve'imru amen. Eish rabba mevorach ve'alam me'almaya yit barak ve'yit shabbat V'pa'ar v'yit ramam v'yit naseh v'yit hadar v'yit alev v'yit halal shemei dekudish abrich le'lam min kol birchata v'shirata tishmechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma ve'imru amen.
Dit kabal slow tone uva'uton decho Yisrael kadam avuhon devishmaya ve'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya v'chayim aleinu v'yakol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu v'yakol Yisrael ve'imru amen.
If you're able, we rise. We give the matching Kiddush cups, Kosei, Kiddush. One. Is it too heavy?
Yeah, it's heavy.
Not heavy.
We'll help you.
Is this grape juice or wine?
Okay.
Oh,
We're on page 55.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafen. Amen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'yahavahu v'ratzon ninchilanu zikaron lemahaseh v'reishit כי הוא יום תחילה למקרא קודש זכר ליציאת מצרים כי בנו בחרת ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים בשבה קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת אמן.
Amen. No? Yeah? I'll bring it to you. Page 56. We remain standing if we're able for Aleinu.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומושב עיקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו וגבי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד אמת מלכנו אפס זולתו ככתוב בתורתו ודעת היום והשבותה אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד ככתוב בתורתך, אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר, והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו, 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 echad.
You may be seated. We note this week, as we finish Tishrei and start the month of Cheshvan, we note the yard sites of Stuart Bass, Francis Becker, Victoria Raab, Murray Riskin, Ira Goldfinger, Bernard Nelson, Sadie Sloat, Irene Warren, Anna Zerlin, Fela Heber, Barbara Jacobs, Michael Levin, Fred Rosenberg, Ann Organ, Maurice Gusson, Robin Schwartz, Charles Bledstein, Robert Zuckerman, Sylvia Kurtz, William Sherman, Mickey Kalick, William Rosen, Leonard Schwartz, Louis Tischler, Herbert Borrow, Jim Moen, Clara Shippo, Jack Leibowitz, William Block, Paul Greenberg, Lillian Morley, Celia Shear-Avol, Miriam Schneiderman, Melvin Wolf, Lottie Safa, Sidney Breslau, Florence Saraboff, Estelle Brown, Aaron Graham, Norbert Jallings, Mosel Baruch, Rose Oakham, Mary Abramson, Rose Goldberg, Renee Fraser, Hannah Sherry, Leroy Paller, Kenyon Rosenberg, Muriel Shear, Alexander Semler, Morris Tooby, Mauricio Agosin, Gilbert Landau, Frank Elman, Bernie Cohen, and Rose Axelrad. In addition, we're in Shloshim this first month of mourning for Abe Werber and Rabbi Jack Schechter. Other names to add for today? Anyone here have a brief memory they want to share about who they're saying Kaddish for? Okay. Maybe during the week we'll hear stories about some of them. I know that some of you have shared stories with me this week, which is really appreciated. Page 58, Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish. If you are in a period of mourning, if you are observing a yard site, you're welcome to rise. We also want to note the passing this week of Lisbeth Adler. Is that right? May her memory be a blessing as well. We say these ancient words together, page 58. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shamei rabbah, ve'alma divara kirute ve'amlich malchute, ve'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'gala uv'izman kari v'imru amen, Yehei shmei rabba mevarach le'ala mul almei almaya, Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal shemei dekudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechamata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shamaya, v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Osei shalom bimromav, hu ya'asei shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. You may be seated. May the one who makes peace in heaven bring peace, bring comfort to all of us and to Israel. Amen. Thank you for joining us here tonight. Thank you, Mariano and Chazan Noam, for bringing music up here to our bima. To Rivka for helping teach. Emily and Spencer. Emily and Spencer, thanks. You did great. Tomorrow morning, 9:30, we'll continue our davening together, our Shabbat prayers together at 9:30 tomorrow morning. Tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we have Havdalah on Zoom. You're welcome to join us. It's 5 minutes on Zoom. It's a lot of fun. Sunday, Minyan will be at the Schechter's house. You can join us for Minyan there. If you need directions, let us know. It's about a minute and a half away. And then Sunday here, in addition to religious school, is Mitzvah Day. So if you are interested in doing something to give back to the world and to the community this week, it's a really easy way. You show up and we'll give you a job to do. If you have extra blood, there's a blood drive and we'll take. But also there's a lot of things going on here. So feel free to come and do a good deed for our community. It would be wonderful. Any other big announcements for events coming up? I must be missing something. We always have a lot of things going on. So check our bulletin, check our website, ask Joyce, ask somebody. When we go into Spiegel Hall after services for a little piece of babka and a nosh, please say hi to somebody you might not know. Whether it's your first time here or your first time here in a long time, introduce yourself to somebody and say, I'm glad you're here. Say Shabbat Shalom. It's a nice thing. All right. Adon Olam. We're on page, we're going to skip all the way to 211. 211, Adon Olam.
Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Gol Yetzir Nira V'nasa V'chaso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra V'acharei Kichlot HaKol Levado Yimloch Nora V'hu Haya V'hu Over Vehu yeh v'tifara Vehu echad ve'en sheinim Ve'hamshilo le'achbira B'li reishin v'li tachlit V'lo ha'oz ve'hamizra Vehu eili v'chayin gohali V'tzur chayvli ve'etzara Vehu nisi humanos li Menad kosi v'yom ekram Ve'ado afkid ruchi Ve'edishan ve'ahira Ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo